You can't make mistakes.
No, you can't. Not even a little bit.
Not at this level.
Okay, game number 2. Have to see how this one goes. All right, here we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome to game number 2, our best of 3 series between Jim Bob the Mighty and PB Head. Jim Bob coming up with a surprise game number 1 victory. Might be all ready to upset PB here in game number 2. PB going to be fighting for his reputation at this point, trying to prove that he is still one of the best off-road trading company players that exists. Morgan, still here, still helping me commentate this particular series. This map, I gotta say, this one doesn't look like the last one at all.
It doesn't, does it? I'm quite liking the scavenger location. I'm not exactly sure where you'd settle a scavenger, but...
A scavenger
Well, right
HQ
there is what
has
I was
been
thinking
founded.
about. That's what
Yep.
PB Head's going to take it for. 14k he got that for. I actually really like that spot, though, because literally all the carbon on the map is right there.
Yeah,
There is
that
dry ice, though.
but I think we're going to have to see probably a robot down in the corner, in the southwest corner. There we go. Not sure
Jim Bob wasn't really ready for that, though. I mean, that was a big lag between PB's found and Jim Bob's, and that's a big problem because there is literally no advantage to waiting once
No.
your opponent has gotten down.
You very quickly need to identify a second spot if you don't get your first spot. And I'm not sure. I personally would have gone over near the geotherm, I think. That single aluminium, I think, would have swung it for me. I mean, it's going to be slow for him to upgrade as a robot.
A scavenger HQ has been
You
upgraded.
need to be racing to the upgrades, I think. And also the dry ice over there would have been a nice little feather in your cap. But we'll see how his location plays out, but definitely a little bit slow, especially
The black
with
market
scavenger.
is online.
Yes, certainly a bit of a slow start for him. Also worth noting that there are machine shops at the colony going to continue to drive that electronics price up. Also one office at this point. So that's not going to help out with the upgrades at all compared to the cheap glass with no warehouses. While that's not going to be a source of cash for PB because he has access to food for the time being, I think he's just going to enjoy some nice, easy upgrades from here.
If PB can keep his debt under control, I think he's in a very, very nice position.
That's a pretty big if, though, if we're being entirely honest. All right, both players access to the black market. I'm wondering if we're going to see some aggression pretty soon here, and if it's going to be worth it for PB to do something like go after Jim Bob's steel in particular to try and keep these upgrades away and let that electronics value just keep rising higher and higher and higher, let that upgrade sail further and further away.
Yeah, I imagine Jim's going to have... He's going to have 2 steel mills. No, yeah, steel mills coming down. That's excellent. A little bit negates any black market action on PB's part, but I imagine PB's put a goon down on his food. He has needed to do that, I think, because it would have been very easy to power surge that out. So,
Already up to HQ3. That's got to be nice for PB. I mean, fuel is going to be a potentially nice, profitable area for him. He can easily get into water and fuel right now if he would like to. And that's actually exactly what we're going to see.
I mean, glass is so cheap at the moment. Like, he's got good aluminium coming in. He's got excellent carbon coming in. He's going to make some decent money off the fuel and the food. I can see him getting to HQ level 4 very quickly. Only concern I have is what is he going to do for power?
Yeah, he doesn't have power just yet. And against a robot who's gone for this split steel, and even with just 2 offices
The
at the
black
colony, power
market
is going to
is
start
open
getting
for business.
expensive. PB needs to watch out for it now that he has these reactors down. But he's always going to have easy access to wind turbines.
New
Could even
land
drop
is
them on
available
top
for
of this
auction.
nice patch of silicon down here and allow for simple rotations later. Or just drop them in that line above his base. There's a great spot for a line of wind turbines available.
Yeah, he could quite easily get 2, maybe 3, well, probably definitely 2 wind turbines just south of his base if he wanted.
That is an option too.
I mean, although you are playing against a robot player who hasn't really
So-
identified any...
PB, I'm going to need you to calm down a little bit here.
That was unnecessary.
A robotics HQ has been
That is
upgraded.
basically the
Unnecessary.
definition of unnecessary. A 24,000 auction for iron. I mean, iron's great. It is an extra claim. But PB's shown consistent problems with debt at this point. He doesn't have any power down just yet, and I'm a little concerned about this.
Just about, I'm worried. I'm more concerned, I'm bloody worried.
Oh boy. Well, he's got HQ4. This is at least flying through these upgrades like this will at minimum keep his bond rating acceptable
But
because his
please.
assets are just going to be so high.
Oh, wind turbines. Come on, and another one, BB. Come on, let's have 3 down. Ooh, that
Oh,
is
an
a
extra claim already. Wow.
The black market is
That's a
online.
fast claim.
Yeah, that's going to do PB a lot of good. Why is he not? I don't like the position of that wind turbine next to his base. It should have been to the other side, right next to the cliff. It's not.
Yeah, and I would like to see him go ahead and round out a third tile of pretty much any of his production. Interestingly enough, he has solar panels, is what he's decided to put down. Potentially was trying to react to the solar flare with that. Maybe he just let carbon get a bit more expensive than he'd have liked, but also just has the nice benefit of separating his power, so at least he can't get power surged out of all of it just yet.
Yeah. I'm not sure why he's. Oh, it's wind turbine now. Taking two silicon down south, which I don't really agree with that much. But
Yeah.
there we go. At least he's got
Well-
power down. At least he's making bank at the moment. So hopefully we won't see any debt situations.
Jim Bob actually is the one who has to be worried about debt right now because he's shipping water such a long distance in particular, combined with this silicon and iron, just all these little shipments really starting to add up to a much higher power price for him, and debt is becoming a pretty serious concern for our robot this game.
Yeah, he has rotated out. He's going to get a couple of turbines down there. He's got geothermal running. Had to rotate out of some of his steel, so hopefully he's going to go into
The
a bit of
black
food,
market is
maybe, or
open for business.
even reactors. Food, I think I'd like to see. At least then he's not going to be losing so much power. He's
A
not
new
making
claim is
power.
available for auction.
PB has an adrenaline boost stored up, by the way, probably looking to grab a goon squad and then throw that down. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, though, because by the time you can pick up that goon squad, we're going to be heading on toward night, and I doubt you're going to want to hit the panels with it. But the turbines are still going to be mostly frozen, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I think PB could have played his power moves a little bit better than he has.
Now, PB in particular, what we would have seen out of most players, I think, was a simple line of turbines, once again, with a goon dead set in the middle. Would have blocked off plenty of power, avoided the nighttime difficulties that he had with the solar panels in particular. And that's what we would have seen out of most players these days. PB
Congratulations.
not around, really, when that became fashionable, so to speak, when it entered the meta. So I'm not too surprised not to see it out of him, but I think it would have been a decent play this game. D rating for Jim
The
Bob.
black market is online.
And back to C. It's just like that. Just in that moment.
Going to be bouncing around, unfortunately. He's going to struggle, I think, to win this game. He's committing, maybe slightly overcommitted to power there.
Well, speaking of committing to power, well, PB is going to be knocking that price down pretty effectively now with this adrenaline boost.
PB's making a significant amount of money, about 1,300 a second at the moment, which, as soon as he gets his debt paid off, if the power price remains reasonably high, which it probably won't, he's got his debt paid at least, so that's a big advantage for him.
It's true, but he's also letting Jim Bob get a pretty significant portion of this as well. Solar panel up, 3 wind turbines running, a geotherm active. I wonder if it would have been better to simply keep committed to this amount of power and continue to attack your opponent, keeping that price a little bit higher for the moment and letting him acquire debt for a while. Well, Jim Bob's going to help him out with that.
A scavenger HQ has been
That was an
upgraded.
aggressive power surge against a player like PB, trying to go after the adrenaline-boosted wind turbine in particular, and thinking that might not be gooned, especially with spies around. I don't know if that's really an acceptable play, and Jim Bob does get punished for it.
Well, with spies around as well, I don't think there's any excuse for it. Although the meta appears to be at the moment, the adrenaline boosts the tile that isn't gooned.
Just to trick people.
Just to trick people, yeah.
Just to fool them.
I think that's
I do want to point out, it's HQ5 to HQ3 at this point. Scavenger to robot, that's not looking good for Jim Bob.
It's not, is it? This is how a scavenger should be played. You're beating your opponent to the upgrades. You're making good money. You're no debt.
In no debt. PB, I
The
want to
black
point out,
market
Jim Bob
is open for
managed to
business.
overtake PB for an auction not all that long ago. A claim auction for 32,000 is what Jim Bob had to push it up to before PB would stop bidding on it. And that was with power on the board as a potential moneymaker.
PB wants
Let
those
the bidding
claims,
begin.
wants those auctions. Oh, you
Oh,
can't
man.
leave it alone, PB. You don't need it.
Well, I mean, 6,000. Come on, 6,000? 6,000. Now you let it go.
It starts at 6,000, Zoltar. It's a slippery slope.
But it's really not. You could stop whatever you want. We gotta get PB into a program or something for auctions. Same with Soren. Those two can get together and have AA meetings. We'll just call it anonymous auctions, where they can sort through how high you're actually supposed to bid on things.
Sold.
I mean, energy vaults.
Auctions Anonymous? I don't know.
There's no need for energy vaults. I mean, if solar panels were his primary concern, then fair enough. But another wind turbine from PB? Come on.
Okay, cancel that. Mine. Patent Lab's under construction, but it ain't gonna go anywhere anytime soon, it looks like. I don't like that Patent Lab. I kind of hate Patent Labs like that with just the one laboratory next to them. Get at least 3 going on, then it's gonna be valuable. With just the one, that time bonus isn't gonna help you out at all, especially with Dynamite available to shut it down and force those even longer repair times. Transitions out of the solar panels, thank you, into glass kilns.
Good.
Certainly gonna be a good thing.
Yep, he's got the silicon coming in. Oxygen as cheap as you like, so...
What if he could just kill Jim Bob now? I mean, he doesn't have the cash yet, but Jim Bob just upgraded and has 5,000 and is making transitions right now instead of using the additional claims, has to move into steel. Jim Bob's looking pretty vulnerable to me.
I don't know if there's enough cash flow at the moment.
That is the question. It's mostly the electronics really pulling in good money.
Yeah. I mean, there possibly was an opportunity somewhere, but... especially with that power price, I think a player like Blues would have leveraged that power price.
A bit more
The
effectively.
patent lab is constructed. Let's get our science on.
Auction Addicts Anonymous works for me.
Yeah, we need to wean PB off the auctions. There's no need for it.
Oh, man. Well, I'm honestly... Yeah, the Patent Lab just gets blown up again. I'm not really surprised by that. I'd honestly be tempted if I were PB at this point. I'm not seeing a nice, easy path, even with a hacker array, to finishing this one out cleanly. Since your opponent's only in about 90,000 debt, I'd be looking pretty hard at just grabbing thinking machines, moving forward with adrenaline boosts, and understanding that I'm a scavenger to try and clean this one up. So I'm kind of curious if that's the line PB is after, or if you want something else.
Yeah, if I was in PB's position at the moment, I'd definitely be prioritising an off-world. I mean, thinking machines would be very nice to pick up, but I think an off-world is the way to go. I mean, you can protect it reasonably well at the moment with goon squads, so you don't have to get
The engineers have
thinking machines
advanced our
immediately.
production.
Obviously, very, very nice to have
You
dynamite.
can't let them get this. Bid
the
now
world.
before it's too late.
Power surges are cheap.
Water engine, PB just reflexively bids on, although Jim Bob's actually going to push it up a little bit, which I find interesting. I don't see water engine being all that helpful for Jim Bob or all that beneficial for PB either. So to see it going for 14,000,
Well, we
16,000.
saw, what, Energy Vault go for 16 as well?
I just...
I think we should enter Jim Bob in the auctions anonymous group as well.
Congratulations.
All right, so we've got 3
The
members
patent
so
lab is
far.
ready to
Soren
begin
has to be
research.
there.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No doubt about that. I think we can submit Zorbaz to it pretty effectively as well, so that brings it up to 4.
Well,
The black
We're getting a
market
group
is
together.
open
This is
for
gonna be
business.
2D back was only a bit behind him, wasn't it?
Oh, that's fair. It was only a bit behind. Oh boy, yeah, that carbon buy. Well, there's no hacker array. So I'm kind of curious. That must just be competing with Jim
Our
Bob. Yeah,
methods
Jim Bob only
continue
has
to
1
improve.
solar condenser down for the moment. PB just trying to make this electronics production weak for him. Jim Bob's actually turned it off, despite the fact that it's still profitable.
Yeah, no, keep it running. He's got some carbon coming in. There's a sellout from PB. Get the price back to what it should be. Come on, PB. Let's have a hologram there. Come on. Let's put down a lovely little off-world. I mean, off-worlds are pretty powerful. 34,000 to launch. Why not? Get the
Yeah,
damn
I'm a little
thing done.
surprised we haven't just seen one drop yet.
Carbon
You can just put it
scrubbing?
underneath this food. It's only a pair of tiles. I don't know.
PB's pulling in carbon scrubbing in his patent lab. don't see any need for that.
The black market is online.
The argument I can make for that is that if you want off-worlds,
Optimization routines
then,
successful.
let's see, now we're working away on thinking machines, but I think that was something prioritized over carbon scrubbing. If you want off-worlds, I don't mind carbon scrubbing, in particular in a game with dynamite available, because that carbon price can be subject to some pretty serious fluctuations, even if you have a lot of it coming in, when you need 600 per advanced building if you drop them down. Finally, PB's decided he's just going to go for the kill. Hacker Ray would have helped out with this a lot more than the Patent Lab I have to throw out there, but PB's going to see if he can make an effort at it. Jim Bob, meanwhile, just doesn't have cash, doesn't have upgrades, has picked up Water Engine, but the Patent Lab itself hasn't gotten anything done.
No. No, he's not used that very much at all. He's caused GG, but yeah, he can't defend himself, can he?
No, I don't think there's just any way, especially with PB shutting him out of electronics
The engineers have advanced our
cash for so
production.
long by initially buying up all that carbon and then just selling down electronics so effectively it's just not particularly profitable anymore. Things have worked out really well for PB here. He should have canceled Thinking Machines about a year ago in order to finish this buy. He's
Nothing
not going to
stops
do it.
productivity quite
There
like
it
an
is. He got it done.
electromagnetic pulse. Available for auction now.
Made it happen. And while an EMP was up for auction, so that doesn't have any relevance whatsoever.
Probably best we finish it now before the auction.
Yeah,
That scavenger claim, I think, was just too good when you compare it
it was
to...
so good.
Yeah. When you compare
It was
it
just
to-
so good. I don't have other words for it. I actually didn't like the robot much this game in particular, mostly because of the difficult electronic situation compared to the glass situation. I think Expansive would have just been a much better decision overall.
Yeah, I don't
I don't know if it
mind
would have made the
robots.
difference, but I think it mattered. Also, it helps you out with debt maybe a little bit, because we saw Power play a pretty significant role in slowing Jim Bob down that game. Yeah, he fixed his debt problem, but he had to commit 1 billion tiles to it. So,
He certainly did. Overall, good game. Scavenger
third game.
Survivors.
Game 3, rubber match.
Excellent.
Let's get that done. I don't need to look at the rest of that game.